Konnichiwa. Today we'll discuss art and architecture of Japan. In front of you, the medieval castle. And I will not talk about this a lot. And I will start with my introduction. As a teenager growing up in Siberia, I came across a book titled Sakura Branch. It was a travel diary written by a Russian journalist. This book had, do you hear me?
Yes.
Profound impact on me. Living in a barrack without exposure to any aesthetic values, I was captivated by the author's description of the people who found joy in a beauty of simple objects like a cup or a bowl. This sparked my fascination with Japanese sensibility that is reflected in pottery, woodblock prints, and gardens. Shinto, also called Shintoism, is a religion that originated in Japan. It is regarded as Japanese indigenous religion. Shinto means the way of the gods. Shinto revolves around supernatural entities called the kami. The kami are believed to inhabit all things, including forces of nature, in prominent landscape locations. This is a woodblock print depicting Kami Inari appearing to a man. This is how we envision it. Oops. No Jackson. This is only one. This is actually Ise Shrine, the sacred, most holy site in Japan. It's a very simple structure, and this straw hedge roof and gold adorned beams. The significance of it, that it's rebuilt every 20 years. And it has been going on for over millennia. Sengu rebuilding of the shrine is an important national event. Its underlying concept that repeated rebuilding renders sanctuaries eternal is a unique group in the world. It is such a large event that preparation takes over 8 years, for which are to prepare the lumber, timber. The locals take part in a parade to transport the prepared. And this is a woodblock print by Hiroshige depicting the Shengo ceremony, the relocation of Kami, when the shrine was rebuilt in 1849. And this is a present day, a procession of Shinto priests, and the occasion of the imperial visit of Ise Shrine. And this is their special outfit, usually they're dressed in white. The procession is followed by entrance of imperial messenger with gift to the gods on the way to the main shrine. You can see this young man carrying the big box with presumably gifts to the gods. And these are the imperial majesties, Japanese Emperor Naruhito and Empress Masaka, on the way to Ise Shrine, Japan's holiest place. The monarchy is revealed in Japan. It's withstood many political upheavals, but all this was preserved. The imperial dynasty is believed to be as old as 2 millennia, uninterrupted. That's very unusual in the world. And this is a kind of characteristic Shinto shrine from unpainted wood, that reflects the traditional Japanese aesthetics, which embraced the natural beauty of nature. I think we have to impress two philosophy, nature, beauty. Another type is the red and orange buildings that considered protective colors in Japan, believed to ward off evil spirits and negative energy. This is a famous torii gateway to the shrine Itsuku Shima Shrine in Hiroshima Prefecture. This is Japan's one of the most famous examples of Shinto architecture. Torii marks the entrance to Shinto shrines and a recognizable symbol of the religion. It's actually, this one is unique. It stands in a sea, not far from the shore, and in the shore you could see the Shinto shrine itself. I visited this place, and it's really very beautiful. Because we are close to Hiroshima, we visit the Peace Memorial Park, dedicated to victims of atomic bomb. It's very simple, just consisting of a semi-arch illuminating the evening. And in the distance, there's a ruins of a building that survived the blast, atomic bomb blast. This is a horrors of the collective punishment, which are characteristic for human beings, unfortunately. After emotional visit, we're going to rest a little bit in a beautiful place. I forgot the name, but what I want to stress is the characteristic for Japanese architecture is pagoda. Pagoda is an import from China, and it's very typical for Chinese religious architecture and also Japanese. The red color indicates that it's a Shinto shrine. In every Shinto shrine, there's barrels of sake. Sake in Shinto shrines brings people and gods together. It's a kind of a custom, and sake, as you know, not very strong drink. This is a beautiful Japanese couple getting married, and the bride is drinking sake. It's in a little cup, so you cannot get drunk. And this kind of lacquered dishes with golden cranes, symbols of longevity. This is a quite remarkable Shinto shrine in Kyoto with 1,000 torii gates. It's Fushin Nari Shinto. And each beam of the gate has a writing, a dedicated sort of prayer. And if you walk through, you're blessed. Buddhism. Buddhism in Japan, Buddhism was first established in Japan in the 6th century CE. Originated in India, Buddhism arrived in Japan by first making its way to China and Korea, and then traveling by sea to the Japanese archipelago. During the Edo period, Buddhism was controlled by the feudal shogunate, which officially was the rulers, shoguns, and was dominant religion. The major period, time of restoration of imperial power, saw a strong response against Buddhism with a forced separation between Buddhism and Shinto. This is the main Buddhist temple in Nara, Japan, not far from Kyoto. It was built in 752 CE, and it's the largest wooden building in the world. It has a Chinese influence in architecture, and it's quite imposing and magnificent. Inside, you can see the great Buddha of Tataiji Temple, the world's largest Buddha statue. They appreciate its size. I don't have this image. You can view it with perspective. If you come close, it's just amazing. Much smaller temples exist in Kyoto, and this is Kinkakuji Temple. It's quite famous. It's called Silver Pavilion. It's 500 years old. It originally was a villa of one of the rulers and was converted into to the temple after his death. Silver Pavilion, the name originates with the idea that it was planned to be wrapped in silver, but it was never materialized, but the name preserved. However, this one, the golden pavilion, is indeed inlaid in gold. Kinkakuji history dates to 1397. It's located on a pond and surrounded by a park, very beautiful site. Very popular among tourists. It was burned several times, the last time in 1950. The present structure is from 1955. The Japanese dry garden, or Japanese rock garden, often called Zen garden, creates miniature stylized landscapes of carefully composing regiments of rocks, moss, and gravel, which is raked to present ripples in water. Zen gardens are commonly found in temples. They are usually relatively small, surrounded by a wall, and meant to be seen from a single viewpoint outside the garden, such as a temple porch. Classical Zen gardens were created at Zen Buddhist temples in Kyoto. They were intended to imitate the essence of nature, not its actual appearance, and to serve as an aid for meditation. This is considered the most famous Zen garden, Ryujin temple on the later 16th century in Kyoto. It's extremely popular. If you want to meditate, I advise you to go to somewhere else because it's so crowded. But it's really serene and beautiful. This is an interesting rock, not rock, but gravel replica of Mountain Fuji, and yes, Silver Pavilion. It looks like children did it. And this is an example of a magnificent garden combination of a rock and landscape garden. It's also not designed for strolling, but viewing. Upon returning from one of my trips to Japan, I recreated a Japanese garden around our house in Michigan. I collected various rocks and boulders to build a foundation for the garden. Dwarf pines represented the everlasting beauty of nature. The blue elegance of Japanese irises symbolized the glory of spring, and hydrangeas displayed their bushy whiteness during summer. Finally, Japanese maples, showing vibrant reds and yellows, announced the arrival of autumn. I also included hosta plants, whose lush foliage illuminated the garden with bluish, greenish, and yellowish hues. While creating my garden, I often recalled my father's love for this craft and its beauty. And of course, Japanese gardens have a signature feature is cherry blossom. Now it's very popular, including Seattle, beautiful gardens all over the world. This is one of the gardens in Tokyo, Asakusa Shrine. And this is a very unusual garden, the moss garden in Saiho-ji Temple in Kyoto. There were 120 varieties of moss in the garden. It's very serene and wonderful. In order to view it, you have to buy a ticket and go through Buddhist prayer, sort of purify yourself before you can view it. And this is another view. It's quite unique. And finally, the fall in Kyoto. It is magnificent. I've been several times in spring with cherry blossoms, and also in the fall with maple leaves, and I don't know which season I was, probably both. This is Yashitori's print, a banquet at the Kashida Palace. You can see it near the dining room. It's striking by vivid colors and dynamism of gestures, but I want to stress the presence of folding screens here also. And they were subject for artists to use it instead of canvas. And one of the most famous artists who did it, used it is Agatha Karim. He was best known for his golden screens such as irises and red and white plum blossoms, both registered as Japan's national treasures. This is, you probably know it, Agatha Karim irises at Yatsuhashi. And this is considered one of the most valuable piece of art in Japan. Another one is, as I mentioned, red and white plum blossoms. Both are exceedingly beautiful. Another type of style of life art is ukiyo-e art, which has flourished in Japan during the Edo period, from the 17th century to the end of the 19th century. The art form took its primary subject, courtesans, kabuki actors, and other associated with the eco floating world lifestyles of pleasure districts. Mass-produced woodblock prints were a significant form of the genre. And this art was aimed at the ordinary town people. This was a big advance in sort of spreading art among people, not only exclusive high-class people. In the mid-18th century, full-color prints became common. They were printed using a large number of woodblocks, one for each color. This is a woodblock making process. As you can see, there's one color and another color, and the paper was applied sequentially. While beautiful, Japanese scrolls painting followed a Chinese tradition, emphasizing the supremacy of nature over humanity. In contrast, ukiyo-e woodblock prints represent a uniquely Japanese cultural tradition. During the 18th century, Edo period, artists like Kiyonaga, Shiraku, and Otomaro elevated the representation of people to a level comparable to that of the Italian Renaissance. Both were introduced people in the first place. This is an example of a scroll painting, and you can see people are very small compared with nature scenes. One of the greatest masters of woodblock prints, Torii Kiyonaga. Kiyonaga was a color expert. Whether he used deep sensual tones or more delicate pastels, shades of gray or black, he applied the color with a great taste and freshness. His delicate lines depicted graceful women and activities familiar to the people of Edo. And this is one of his print. Idea to compare it with Leonardo da Vinci in terms of their gracefulness. You can see the line of graceful women and both cases. These are other prints by the same artist depicting everyday activities. On your right, there's a probably geisha house, the owner of the geisha house in black, sitting and standing as a geisha, and on mica, the apprentice geisha in blue. This is just everyday scene. And another one is a snow viewing. Snow was quite unusual event in Kyoto region, and so people always view it with amazement. You can see two ladies viewing it, and the kids trying to taste it. And this is another everyday activity, women's bathhouse. And you can see also a little window where probably artists making sketches. And finally, there's adorable prints by this artist, children decorating a bamboo tree with different wishes and toys. And children at play in the snow. Well, mothers allow them to be barefoot. They enjoy it with pleasure. Another significant artist is Utamara. Is one of the most highly regarded designer of ukiyo woodblock prints, best known for its images of beautiful women. He also conducted nature studies and produced illustrated books of insects. Utamara had generated over 2,000 known prints and was one of the few ukiyo artists to achieve fame throughout Japan in his lifetime. Nevertheless, in 1804, he was arrested for making illegal prints depicting the 16th century military ruler Hideyoshi, and also Shuga, Japanese pornography. This is his probably most famous prints. One is called The Woman Blackening Her Teeth, which was normal on the left. And this print, the very original print, set an auction record of 745,000 euros in 2016. And another called Pensive Love. I have in my collection facsimiles, which is exact copies of what was done in 18th century. And you can view them near the dining room. These are two other examples of his art. Very beautiful, but women of Japan. And this is Utamara's book of insects. Unlike sort of beautified women, these are very natural drawings. As an entomologist, I can confirm they're very beautiful and realistic. At this time, as anywhere else in Japan, there are a lot of mosquitoes, and you can see Utamara and other artists depicted the scenes of mosquito nets and women hiding behind Asian painting called A Beauty Emergent from the Mosquito Net. And Utamara's is a woman smoking opium. Another artist which was significant for this movement was Sharaku. Sharaku made most portraits of kabuki actors. His compositions emphasized poses of dynamism and energy and displayed a realism unusual for prints of the time. Contemporaries such as Utamara represented their subjects with an idealized beauty. Sharaku did not shy from the showing and flattening details. This was not to the public's taste of the time. This is one of the prints I have. And you can see it's a wonderful, dynamic print of kabuki actors. These are two artists of his kabuki theaters. As you can see, he is not flattering them, not beautifying them. In kabuki theater, all roles are played by men. So on the left, an actor in a woman's role. And this is a production of one of the very popular plays, Shibaraku, at the Eden Theater in 1858. Well, looks like a theater, right? Well, another artist which I must review is Hakusai. Was a Japanese woodblock artist of either period. His woodblock series, 36 views of Mount Fuji, include the iconic print, the Great Wave of Kanagawa. Started as a young child, he continued working and refining his style until his death at the age of 88. In a long and successful career, Hakusai produced over 30,000 paintings, sketches, woodblock prints, and images for picture books. Innovative in his compositions and exceptional in his drawing techniques, Hakusai is considered one of the greatest masters in the history of art. This is perhaps his greatest creation, most likely familiar with, this great wave, the Great Wave. It's, you can see at the distance Mount Fuji and different waves of different size, and they provide the kind of symmetry in views. This is description. The print is Hakusai's best known work and the first in his series, 36 Views of Mount Fuji. The composition of the Great Wave is synthesis of traditional Japanese prints and the use of a graphical perspective developed in Europe. It earned him immediate success in Japan and later in Europe. The Great Wave of Kanagawa has been described as possibly the most reproduced image in the history of world art, and a contender for the most famous art in Japanese history, along with Agatha Christie's Korean folded screens. This woodblock print has influenced several Western artists and musicians, including Claude Debussy, Vincent van Gogh, and Claude Monet. These are other prints from the same series, the Red Fuji. This is sunrise, and you can see the calm morning, which is emphasized by horizontal layers of clouds. In contrast, this is the thunderstorm beneath the summit. You can see the darkening mount with lightning beneath and the clouds, curly clouds, symbolizing this thunderstorm. And these are wonderful depictions of waterfalls. Hiroshige is best known for his horizontal format landscape series, the 53 Stations of the Tokaido, and his vertical format landscape series, 100 famous views of Eden. Hakusai had a strong influence on Hiroshige's choice of subjects. However, Hiroshige's approach was more poetic and ambient than Hakusai's bolder prints. The delicate use of color was essential in Hiroshige's prints, often printed with multiple impressions in the same area, with extensive use of color gradations. This is one of his remarkable prints, the Foggy Morning. You can see how he used different perspective, patches of fog, and different images, like a group of travelers visible clearly from the fog. Some travelers are really vanishing in the fog, and different patches of forest and houses. Just a remarkable image. This is another which I like. It's the rain and wind. You can see the angular rain emphasized the strong wind and bamboo is also different layers of showing a perspective. And finally, this I want to show this print from the same series, Hakone. Very unusual. It has a impressionistic or post-impressionistic view. The different colors, not very natural, yellow, blue, browns interact, and very kind of a symphony of colors. And I want to compare it with a post-impressionistic painting by Paul Cézanne. You can see kind of resemblance. Although they were made in total isolation and hold in different times. In 1996, my wife, Natasha Ratkhel, and I went to a month-long lecture tour of Japan. We took our 12-year-old son, Vincent, with us. During the first back-to-back lectures, we asked Vincent to stay in the auditorium. After our lectures, Vincent said, "What your lectures were very boring. 12 people slept during your lecture and 11 during yours." I am not disclosing whose lecture was more boring. He's actually in our audience. We visited the Hakone region. There we stumbled on a small art shop. In this shop we found a rare series of 6 prints by the Japanese artist Yoshitori. The prints are based on the famous Japanese poem The Tale of Genji, and depict the crossing of the Oi River by the prince's entourage. At the time, shoguns, Japanese rulers, did not allow bridges to be built across the Oi River for strategic reasons. This point of the river crossing had become a favorite site for artists. You can view Yoshitori's prints at the art exhibit located next to the dining hall. I have another crossing of the Oi River by Hiroshima. This one is remarkable because it has a very vivid colors, and you can see also kind of an expression of ladies looking at each other. Just comparing the outfits and entourage. Hakusai's works, along with those of Hiroshige, had significant influence on Vincent van Gogh, Claude Monet, and Marie Cassatt during the wave of Japanism that spread across Europe in the late 19th century. This is a painting by Vincent van Gogh after Japanese artist Eisen. During my numerous trips to Japan, I eagerly absorbed the aesthetics of this remarkable country. I visited kilns in the Japanese countryside, seeking pottery that reflected simplicity showcased the beauty of glazes and featured elegant patterns. These humble objects, such as tea ceremony bowls, fascinated me and filled my soul with tranquility. This is one of the bowls from my collection. The bowl is, I call it, is cracked glaze. It's reminding me of thunderstorm. And I can superimpose it with Hakusai's print, and you can see kind of a artistic expression in different forms. Another one is it's called Origin bowl with a fluid glaze. On both sides of the bowl, there's a glaze streaking down. And then again, I compared with Hiroshige's waterfall. Maybe it's not most extensive, but very similar. And this is just reminding you the most characteristic type of pottery, Japanese pottery called raku. There's a red raku and black raku. Is a very popular name, and unfortunately it's used in commercial ways of the different kind. And when if you're purchasing, you can look at this a little step. This is significant because it's a real, authentic. This is a artist Sanaka Sashika Karatsu Shaban tea ceremony bowl. It reflects, in my opinion, the beauty of imperfection. And it's used for tea ceremony. And this is perhaps shocking for our view. The formal tea ceremony, I don't know whether it's used now, but this is how it used to be. This is a different kind of pottery, hand-painted gilded bowl. It's a Meiji era, second part of the 19th century. It's called Satsuma ware. In the Meiji era, the emperor's power restoration was marked by different reforms, of course, but in the pottery it was marked by more decorative pottery styles. Look at this exquisite painting, a really beautiful bowl. And this is also a Meiji era cherry blossom vase. Beautiful examples of Meiji period pottery. And finally, another type, a Mari porcelain bowl of second half of 19th century. It's quite large like this. And I have in my collection. Exports of the Mari porcelain to Europe by the Dutch trading company that initiated influenced the development of European porcelain styles. And a few words about the kimonos. This is a folding a screen with different images of women and different types of kimonos. Kimonos used as everyday, perhaps now, not now, but for everyday clothes and for special occasions. It's a specific art, and some kimonos are really exquisite. For example, this one. It was worn probably for official ceremonies, including fancy wedding, and now they are in museums, such as Metropolitan Museum of Art. This is another example from Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. It's just a remarkable beauty. And important part of kimonos is a obi, a kimono sash. Very elegant feature of women's outfit. And here there's a little haiku. All tranquility, penetrating the thereof is cicada's voice. Arigato gozaimasu.
Thank you. That was such a treat. Anyone have comments, questions?
So can you explain how the prints traveled to be then used to influence some of the masters in Europe?
Yeah.
There were limited editions, etc. So how did they get there?
Yeah,
And
the
how did
first exposure was Paris World Expo, the one where Eiffel Tower was created. And Japan brought prints to its pavilion. And this was a really revolution. European artists were amazed by colors of these prints, and there was the beginning of influence to European so-called wave of Japanese.
Who got to see the woodblock prints in 19th century Japan? Was it the upper classes or everybody? Were the prints put on the walls? How were they exhibited?
Well, a good question. Woodblock prints were really produced in masses, so they were directed to many people. It was not a choice of high class, unlike, like, say, Fulton screens with exquisite paintings. They were produced, and people, townspeople were exposed to this art, including Schumler, very popular.
Alex, the piece of pottery that showed such an exquisite painting in the base of the bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Approximately how large is that bowl?
Let me see what we're talking about. This one?
Well, that's one. The other was one or two before that.
This
That
one?
one.
This one is kind of like this.
Well,
Not
maybe
very big.
8 or 10 inches in
Yeah,
diameter.
yeah.
That's incredibly intricate
Yeah.
and precise
Mhm.
painting.
Sure. Thank you.
Were the wood blocks made with a single piece of wood, or were there, these large wood block prints?
No, the wood blocks technique was based on making many carvings on different pieces of wood, and every piece was stained individually with different colors. And after this paper was rubbed with one color, replaced carving and with another one, and so this series of blocks. I hope it's understandable. They were printed, as you maybe observed near dining room, They were all printed in a limited size of paper. Not a large one.
Many pieces.
Right, right. And they were used but put them together. Right, exactly.
What did they use to press the print,
Huh?
the blocks down on the paper? What was the mechanism that they used to press the prints down on the paper? I believe it's sort of,
This one. You can see here.
it's just by hand?
Yes, by hand like this. Yeah, it's laborious process.
I imagine, so it's not mechanical. Okay. I see some hands waving back, okay.
The lines are incredibly fine. What kind of wood was used to carve the wood prints?
I'm not sure, but I think it's quite soft wood
Really?
for carving. Maybe maple, I don't know.
Alex, did they
Maple
number,
and hard, I don't know. I'm not aware.
did they number the prints like Western printmakers do?
Western prints, to my knowledge, are made on a metal plate,
Most of them have.
and after, let's say, 100 copies, they're destroyed. So that's why it's numbered. And Japanese, I don't know they were destroyed, but they were not as durable, so. But they were, like, nowadays, there's a Adachi Institute of woodblock prints, and you can order there a facsimile, just total copy. Very fine, very precious.
Oh, I figured I'd have it automated with a computer.
Science and art are not exactly compatible occupations. I wonder if you have any comments about how you either transitioned or reconciled the two.
I believe that it's not, it is compatible. It's a part of human creativity. And if you open to it, you open to many sides of creativity. I love music, art, and of course science.
Very well-rounded person.
Does
Does anyone else?
Your last slide says it all.
Pardon?
Your last slide says it all
Uh-huh.
on the inside.
Yes, thank you.
Sarah, would you turn up the light?
For everybody's information, the wood used for wood blocks is mountain cherry.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Cherry.
Cherry.
Anybody else want the microphone?
Alex, thank you so much.